Good morning, YouTube. It's Saturday morning, the 28th of March. And it's a rainy day, rain most of the night, but it looks like we're going to get enough dry spell to do a little bit. Here's what we had accomplished the other day. I've been showing you the slat wall in front of the old bus motor. And there'll be plenty of ventilation here. A lot of people are concerned about the radiator, but we got all 3 foot or more between the two. We're just trying to keep the driving rain and driving weather out of the building here. And then once we add on the rest of the building here, we're going to go another 21 feet. We're going to get that slab pile moved here. Some of the projects for later on today. And those big highway, we call them Jersey barriers. I don't know what some people call them around the country, but they're basically highway barriers. And we're going to use 3 of those over here at the sawdust bin. And we're going to do is set them up, 1 across the front, 2 down the sides, build a little shed roof structure on it, and we will have dry sawdust and contained sawdust. I've been cleaning out the saw pit so you can see how nasty this is. Also been filling in behind the building here, more real estate, and they're cutting out some of the hill on the other side of the property, and we're bringing it over here. And we're going to go ahead and level this whole back out of here, and then this is eventually where the kiln will go. And we're going to move the firewood cut up way over the other side here. I see the Eddie Horvath is pulling in now. He's a little bit on the early side today. And there comes my old red pickup truck. That's what's funny. There he is, the Eddie Horvath. And some other projects, been again cleaning out the sawdust pit. And what happened here is when we first started this mill up, we did not have a blower on it. And if you look up one of our old videos, it's called Sawing Pine, you will see the mill without a blower. I also got the chain in for the log turner. That's going to be a project because it's going to rain. We're going to cut up 1 piece of locust for Eddie. He needs a mailbox post made up. And we're going to take the bar off of that chain turner and take it back to the workshop and re-weld some stuff, rework it. A little bit of maintenance, because once we start sawing, it's going to be full steam ahead. And here he comes, the Eddie Horvath. How you doing today, Ed?
Good. How's everybody?
Remember, 6 foot roll. Yeah, not to mention, you know, we're week 3 into this whole pandemic. Yeah, there we go.
We take it serious.
Yeah, we do take it serious.
Wash your hands.
Yeah.
Pookie, my granddaughter, wash your hands.
Yes, Pap says wash your hands.
That's right.
So I was telling everybody what our little projects here for today. You want to cut a mailbox post out?
Yeah, fella needs it locust preferably, or something we can bury.
Something you can bury. Locust, my grandpap's old homestead, there's still locust posts in the ground.
Yes, sir.
And he's been dead since 1984. And
you can walk in the woods anywhere around here and still find them.
Yeah, yeah, they just do not rot out. No. That's nature's womanized.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to go ahead and get things together here, get some logs out of the pile, and we'll be talking to you in a minute. Okay, 1 mailbox post coming up here. We'll go ahead and get the old bus motor fired up here. Looking at the fuel valve, yes. And there's the Eddie Horvath on the scene out there. And this won't take about a minute or 2 to and we'll bring up our little piece of locust here. dog deck. Take a minute or two to get it up here. Tight on that carriage here where I'm going to set it. Alrighty, let's try to roll it a little bit. Got a little crook in it, but and we're done here today. We're going to go ahead and tear that log turner apart a little bit. Needs some reworking on it. And we'll see if we can see the laser today, huh? There it is. We'll take a pretty heavy cut off of it. Locust is actually a pretty wood. A lot of people don't recognize it, how pretty it really can be. As hard as nails. Probably close to saw and hickory. And we're just going to square it up, that's all we're going to do. We'll set it so I get one board off of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it down to about 7 5/16. That'll give me one full set here. Close enough. Might take that little piece of wood to the shop and maybe make something out of it. How's that sound? There's our 6 inches. Yeah, look how pretty that wood is. Locust. Off of try to trim one more board off of this if we can, so something to play with. One full board off of there. What can we make out of locust? Probably make a pretty picture frame. And I'm going to leave the carriage down here for now because we're going to start working on the mill anyway. Already. And there it is, the log turner. I'm going to bring it up out of the bed here so we can unbolt and see the laser. We'll cut it right in half. There we go. Okay, we'll be with you in a couple minutes here and we'll take it apart. All right, we're ready to attack this log turner. I labeled the hoses, so we're going to disconnect the hoses, the pin that holds the up and down on the cylinder, and then you can see the wear inside of here. This thing has really been through the war. So I got a brand new chain sitting down in the shop. We're going to re-weld a new bottom in there and give it a new paint job. So we'll go ahead and get started on this project. So we got the hoses off of it, and we're going to let this baby lay down on the track here. Eddie's getting a little piece of wood here or something to lay it on. And I don't know how much this thing could weigh, but it's going to weigh a couple pounds. There you go. That way we can slide it right out. That's a pretty board, Eddie.
Yeah.
That's okay. All right, let's get on this thing here, and I'm gonna do is pull the pin.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's
keep your fingers up.
Yeah.
Up high.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right, it's pretty impressive how heavy it is. And to give you an idea of how much wood this mill has sawed, if you can see that pin, look at that wear in there. You know how many times that had to go up and down to do that? I don't think anybody realizes a sawmill over the years of how much wear there actually is on that piece of equipment. But we'll go ahead and unbolt it from the frame itself, and we'll go ahead and get it out here. So we'll be with you in a minute. We got her unbolted here, and the main lift bearings are in really good shape. This is what this log turner rides in, two of these basically heavy walled pipe homemade bearing that Edmondson had built. So we got to slide to me, Ed, and then we're going to get it out of that other bracket. I don't know how heavy it's going to be. We're going to find that out here very shortly. So yeah, she got a little weight to her, that's for sure. Oh. Got to get out of that cup. There we go. Let's just, we're going to get an oil bath here at the same time.
You're going to push it out?
Tell you what, let's
get her to the side where we can get it on the barrel. That way you can get the front.
Okay, let me get around the side here.
What you think?
Yep, this thing is heavier than we ever anticipated. That's for sure. I gotta get out of the track here.
Hold on, let me get a hold of it. You got it?
Yeah, I got it for a second here. Yeah, this is probably good.
250.
Yeah, it's a little weight. All right, we're in the wheelbarrow, and we'll get her back to the workshop, and we'll show you some video of rebuilding the log turner. So we will be with you in a minute. Okay, got the log turner back here in the shop, And we're going to start tearing it down. And it's hard to see the wear. I don't know if I don't know if it's showing up good on video or not, but there's a lot of wear there. So I'm going to probably replate that with some 1/4 inch and weld it all back up. But we're going to tear it completely down, take the bearings apart, check everything, probably put a new chain on there on the drive end of it, and get it totally cleaned up and redone. So we'll go ahead and get it tore down, and I'll show you the extent of the wear here. So we'll be with you shortly. All right, we got the tear down completed, and now I can see why I was having troubles turning logs with this turner. At one time, that piece of metal used to come all the way down straight. It's on a little bit of an angle, but look what happened there. So the chain itself literally could not grab the log because it was just ducking back behind there. And this is what millions of board feet of lumber will do to a log turner. It's just amazing that a hunk of steel could wear out. So the solution is I got some 1/4 inch hardened steel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reline this thing, and then on the business end down in here, I'm going to put some real heavy structure underneath of that, couple little gussets across there, something to carry it so they can't collapse ever again. And a lot of welding. I cleaned all the gunk out of this. That tube was completely packed with oil and sawdust. So just imagine welding on that. That would have definitely have caught fire. That would have been pretty. The bottom pins, everything looks in really good shape as far as that goes. But we did show you the pin that held the hydraulic cylinder was really in bad shape. The hydraulic motor that does the business end here, this is what does the work. They had Mickey Moused a bunch of things on the mounting bracket, so we're going to tear all that down, redo it up correctly, and you know, if this takes a week or so to get it fixed right, might as well do it now. We're not into our actual sawing season yet. It's about 71 degrees outside here in Pittsburgh today. It's a beautiful day. They're saying storms are through. Eddie Horvath and I have got a lot of cleaning done today up the mill, so it was a very productive day. So I'm going to go and get some metal cut here, and I'll be with you in a bit and show you the progress as we're going. Okay, we're getting closer to fixing this thing. I put this heavy-duty piece of steel in the bottom here, and when this plate goes on here and gets welded in, this literally, there'll be an arc bent in here, so we'll tack weld the top in tight, and then we'll pull that down to that block, and then we'll weld to that, because this thing doesn't go straight. Finding out through looking at this thing, it always did have a little bit of a ramp to it, but nothing like that. So got everything pretty much cleaned up here, so we're going to be getting to some welding here, so we'll keep you updated here. We're going to have a log turner. Will be just as good as new when we're done here. So, and then here's also the chain. This is the old one, so I'll show you the comparisons between the old and the new. You can't believe the wear, but that's why we couldn't turn logs. But we'll get her fixed. We'll be with you in a minute. All right, we're making some good progress here. Got this pretty well fitted up nicely. Just got to continue the welds down along here. And I think you can see it better from this angle. This is the original angle that was in this thing, so I followed what was there originally, and I don't know the reason for it, but I'm going to continue it the way it was. But it is looking 100% better than what it did when I first started on this, so we'll keep you posted. You know, what's left to do now is finishing up the final welds on this, and once we're welded up here, we'll sandblast it. And what I like to do is work it left and right. And we'll continue this on down, and we'll go ahead and sandblast and get some fresh paint on this thing. So we'll be with you in a little bit. Okay, we got a lot accomplished since last time we talked. Got everything welded up and painted up, and found some more stress cracks, so I had to do some more welding. And now I'm in the process of getting ready for assembly. Here's the new chain. So I just threw some paint on that so it don't get any surface rust on it, and gonna get the bearing assemblies all cleaned up and re-greased. There's grease arcs that were broken off, and the hydraulic motor itself that drives the whole unit, they had really some Mickey Mouse things going on there, so I had to redo some stuff because the ears on the actual motor were broken off. So I had made up some pieces with basically nuts and pieces of steel, and now that it's mounted nice and solid where it wasn't before, here's the drive assembly. I just got that all degreased, and that's the part that actually drives the chain on top of the turner. So we're going to be ready for assembly here, and it's starting to look like something now. Better than going out and spending $6,000 for a new one. So, and this will be just as good when we're done with it. So, we'll let you see what's going on here in a minute. I'll be with you then. Okay, making some really good progress here. I got everything mounted back up here, and you can turn this by hand. It's a good sign that everything's going to work good when it gets under hydraulic power. So here's the brand new chain. A lot of re-welding, a lot of plating, a little bit of TLC. If you don't have money to buy new stuff, then you have to take your time and fix what you have. This turner probably goes for $6,000 new, if not more. So you know, why not fix it? So all we got left to do, we're going to go ahead and tighten down this bearing here, and then we'll put the drive chain onto the, make sure we're going the right direction. We do not want these coming loose, so we're going to torque them down. And I like to use the nuts with the nylon in them. They do not back out. If you reuse them a few times, yes, they can get a little loose on you. But okay, everything's spinning nicely. So last step now is to put our drive chain on. And I should have really bought a new piece of chain, but if this one will keep turning for now, we're just going to run it. It's a number 60 chain. It's a little bit wore out, but so am I. And these ones here are, I don't quite like the master links with the little cotter keys in it. That never did like those. In fact, this chain is so wore out right now, I'm trying to fight getting it. There we go. The little tubes are starting to fall out. So I hate to go buy a box of chain in order to fix just a couple feet of chain here, and there's just little tiny cotter keys that go in here, and that's what holds it together, and you can bend these pretty much with your fingers. So, but when I took it apart, there was only one in there. So again, this mill was, as Eddie would say, had a little slack in her. So there we go. Perfect. And that should stay in there for years. But there you go. Hope it wasn't too boring of a video. We'll have some more footage before this is over. We'll take it back up, bolt it up to the mill. hook it up to hydraulics and throw a big old log on there and see what she does. But everything else is really in good shape. I had to redo, like I said, some of the bracketry on here was broken. The ears on the hydraulic motor were broken. So I took some time and basically a little bit of hunky ingenuity. It goes a long way. So we will be with you here in a minute. We're going to go and get this thing delivered back down to the mill, and let's get her back in service and see what it'll do. I'll be with you in a minute.